couple of months.
3 months.
Would you say he was a conscientious man, sir?
Oh, yes.
Always left a note to say where he was going and that sort of thing.
He was extremely scrupulous.
And yet, apparently, that Friday afternoon, he broke all the law and the prophets. He committed the sin against the Holy Ghost.
Inspector, please.
He left a filing cabinet open. A cabinet full of exam questions. Now, either he was idle and careless...
Well, he wasn't that, not at all.
Then it was entirely uncharacteristic of him to do it, so he didn't do it. Someone else did it. Someone else who then came back and drew Noakes's attention to this uncharacteristic breach of security. That Quinn was in the building was confirmed by the presence of his anorak.
So I don't understand. Where was Quinn?
In the car park.
What?
In the boot of his car all the time.
What?
I'm sorry, gentlemen, I must get back to the station to hear what Mr. Roop has to say for himself. It's all a question of logic, you know. Just the application of logic. Right, Lewis, where have we got him?
Interview room 1, sir.
Right, whatever you do, don't interrupt. Just keep your mouth shut and your face straight. Even if you think I'm quite balmy, all right?
Right, sir.
Good.
Does that mean you arrested him on inspiration, then, sir?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No? Do you know what's been the trouble with this case, Lewis? Everyone's been so damned clever. Began well, though, didn't it? Everything just as you planned. You said goodnight to Noakes, walked out of the syndicate, disappeared down the road, turned round, and came back again. Noakes obligingly went off to make a cup of tea. You went quietly in, along to Quinn's office, put on his anorak, crept out the back, got into his own car using his own keys, and drove off. The ever-obliging Noakes even saw you out of the window, thought you were Quinn himself. You then drove to Quinn's cottage, stopping to shop on the way. 2 steaks to make it look as if he had a guest. A mysterious, unseen guest who poisoned him and then vanished. Very, very ingenious. Except you didn't check his fridge. You bought butter. He had plenty of butter already, and you bought salted. He never touched salted butter. Silly mistake, really. Overreached yourself, I'm afraid.
If anyone's overreaching themselves, it's you. I've never heard such elaborate nonsense in my life.
Oh, there's more to come.
In that case, I think I'd better speak to my lawyer.
Oh, I thought you didn't want to see him.
I didn't know that we'd be leaving the realms of fact for fantasy.
Well, it seemed fantastic to me at first. But then it was meant to, wasn't it?
I've no idea what you're talking about.
You deny the charges, then?
Charges? You haven't brought any charges yet.
You deny the sequence of events I had...
Of course I bloody deny it. I've heard such rubbish in my life.
Then let me explain. Quinn's murderer had to establish an alibi. You see, all the indications were that Quinn was still alive on Friday evening, but he wasn't, as you know.
Don't keep saying things like that. I don't know anything of the sort.
Oh, pity. I'm still not exactly sure when he was killed. I was hoping you'd tell me.
Look, I was in London all day. I got back to Oxford at 4:15.
Can you prove that, sir?
Indeed I can. I met the Dean of Lonsdale College on the platform. Does that phone connect with the real world?
Yes, yes.
Then phone him up and ask him.
Lewis, would you...
Number 74353. And if Quinn was actually murdered before I got back to Oxford, if indeed he was really murdered at all, that puts me in the clear, doesn't it?
It would seem to, yes, sir.
Ah, good afternoon. Could I speak to the Dean, please? Just one moment, please. Won't be back till 4.
We'll get over to the college at 4 o'clock and see him, will you?
All right, thank you. No, nothing important.
It's important to me, if you don't mind. Can I go now?
Well, yes. Well, I see no reason to... I'm sorry you've been troubled, sir. Sergeant Lewis, would you drive Mr. Root back to his room?
No, thanks. I'll walk. I've had enough police hospitality for one day.
You tell me what you think you're doing.
Too clever by half, Lewis. Too clever by 2 or 3.5. No, don't do that. I said...
Sorry.
I said, don't wipe out the words yet. I want to look at them.
Well, you can see the principle. P, B, and M are the most difficult letters to read. T and D get easily confused as well. Mr. Quinn was very good, though. One of the best lip readers I've ever had. Of course, even he made mistakes. We all do.
Was he very deaf?
Yeah. Can I rub this off now?
Would he be able to hear the bell? I'm sorry, would Mr. Quinn have been able to hear that bell?
What bell?
Yes. Yes, it all makes sense. Right. Well done, Lewis. I'm on my way.
Afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
Come in. Inspector, how nice.
Feeling better?
Well, I couldn't stand hospital. Work helps, you know.
And you like your work, Monica. I may call you Monica.
If you like. And yes, I like my work.
And your loyalty to the syndicate is really something, isn't it?
What do you mean?
To the secretary, anyway.
Ah.
You lied to me.
No. You asked me if I saw anyone at the cinema. I didn't. I saw him coming out.
That's a bit Jesuitical, isn't it?
He's a married man. I just couldn't see what his being there could possibly have to do with... Anyway, he was leaving even before the film began.
Yes. Why do you reckon that was, Monica?
He saw Donald. Donald would have been out of there like a shot if he'd seen him.
Yes?
Yes. If you're going to call me Monica, what shall I call you?
Morse. Everyone just calls me Morse. Ah, just the man I wanted to see. I want you to call an extraordinary general meeting of the board of syndics, do you call them?
Syndics, yeah.
Yeah, for tomorrow morning.
Well, that's impossible. They're all very busy people.
Tell them to cancel their lectures, their visits to their publishers, their college meetings. In fact, the whole hebdomadal council, if necessary. I want to see them at 10 o'clock for a most important announcement.
Well, I hope it proves more important than your announcement at the inquest. I understand Mr. Roope is considering suing for wrongful arrest.
Then he'll do it from jail. We've just arrested him again. After them, Dr. Bartlett's. These dons. I mean, look at them. There's enough brains here to sort out the whole of the British economy. What do they spend their time on? Obscure research and teaching ignorant louts of undergraduates.
There's a lot of very important research goes on in Oxford, cancer and that.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, I mean, it's pretty rarefied setting exams, don't you think? Oldby wanted to prove himself outside the academic world. He knew he was dying, found himself in the middle of corruption and murder. He wanted to have a go, that's what it was. He wanted to solve it on his own. At the end of his life, he wanted to prove he'd lived.
So he died.
Yes.
Good morning, Inspector. Though hardly for the syndicate.
Good morning, sir. We were just talking about Mr. Ogleby.
I've been wondering if we didn't do him a great injustice. We might have had none of this trouble if we'd appointed him instead of Bartlett.
Oh, well, we'll never know, will we? Dr. Bartlett, what happened at 12 o'clock last Friday in this building?
We had fire drill.
Precisely.
All right, ladies, thank you. Just practicing. All right, that's enough.
Quinn couldn't hear that. And so as the alarm was sounding, he was being offered a glass of sherry in one of the offices downstairs. Sherry laced with cyanide. He was dead within 20 seconds at the most.